right, guys, so let's look at lesson 6 today called Increasing and Decreasing. The lesson first starts off with this warm-up called Improving Their Game. It says, here are the scores from 3 different sports teams from their last 2 games. All right, the questions is asking, what do you notice about the team scores? What do you wonder? All right. 2, it says, which team improved the most? Explain your reasoning. All right, guys. So, one thing I noticed is that the basketball team had the most points. So, I'm going to write down, annotate. Come on, you better work for me. All right, I'm going to annotate in black. The basketball team had the most points out of all the games. And I'm going to put most points total because I don't want you guys to think, oh, they had the most points for improvement. But that was like, the basketball team. If you ever been to a basketball game, sometimes the scores do go up to 100, okay? The baseball team had the least, comparing to the other sports, least points total. Okay? And the football team had, it was in between. Just put in between. Okay. So another thing that I noticed about this, that each team improved by 8 points. Okay. So I want you guys at home to think, did you notice something else about these scores, these sports teams, and so on? And what do you wonder, right? A few things that I can wonder is, I wonder what was the other team score? Did they win? Did they lose? Sometimes depending on the team you play determines what type of score you could get. Because if we know that if we play a team that's challenging, the team is able to score more. If we play a team that's more challenging, you might score less, okay? Depending on the good defense or not. So, now let's look at 2, which is asking, what team improved the most? Explain your reasoning. Now, when I first look at this, I was just like, well, they all increased by 8, correct? But if I look at the baseball team, and I'm going to highlight the baseball team. There we go. I'm going to highlight the baseball team. Why? Because I want you guys to really pay attention to this. All right. The football team increased by 8 points. This is true, but their starting score was 22 points. The basketball team starting last game was 100 points. Not starting scores, but you get what I'm saying. The total amount at the end of each game was 100 points and increased by 8. However, the baseball team jumped all the way up from 4 to 12. That's a huge improvement. That's 3 times the amount from the first game. Okay, so if I multiply 4 times 3, it would give me 12. If I was to multiply times 3 for each one, it should have been 66 or 300, which these did not model those numbers. So the baseball team, if you're looking at the portion, grew 3 times or scored 3 times as much as they did in the previous game, which means they improved by a lot. All right, so which team improved the most? And I will put the baseball team. Improved the most. All right. Their score increased 3 times as much. Okay. I would put 3 times comparing it to its game 1. Okay? So, if you have any questions on this warm up, guys, feel free to visit your manager's Google Meet session. Keep in mind that you guys do need to complete this assignment in your Google Classroom. And yeah, make sure you get it done. So, I'll see you guys in the next problem.